Welcome to our webinar around global sales pattern. My name is Håvard Nilsen and I'm an area manager for Scandinavia and Selfie-Store. Selfie-Store is a supplier of award-winning intelligent cabinets. So if we go to today's topic, it's like start thinking shopper. And why do I say it, start thinking shopper? Yes, because in a Selfie-Store, you need to think like a small convenience store. What kind of products and brand does a shopper expect to find in a Selfie-Store? And to understand that, I will take an example from two of the biggest brands in the world in drinks. And I will talk about Coca-Cola and Pepsi. And why do I talk about these brands? Yes, that's because both of these brands are so strong brands and that a shopper, consumer can decide not to do a purchase a place where they don't find their brand. A person who are a Pepsi person can decide not to buy anything because it's only Coca-Cola and versa vice. So these are things to consider when you plan the assortment in your Selfie-Store. And I will show a case study from a Selfie customer that has a fleet of plus 10 cabinets. The data is collected with the same amount of cabinets and on the same location. And the data source is Selfie Cloud Portal. And for this exercise or for this data, I will focus on the sales data, which are most understandable and for all of you, hopefully. So, we have a customer, and these are very fresh numbers until 28th of November. So when they had Coca-Cola in the cabinets, you see they have a certain sales pattern. But by adding Pepsi Max, you see that all the sales come on top of the Coca-Cola. So you say you sell the same amount of Coca-Cola, but the Pepsi are on top sales, which if you look at the data, you can say, okay, you attract more shoppers to the cabinet. So after adding Pepsi to the same amount of cabinet, the same location, the unit sales went up with 55.8%. And that's a huge increase in the sales. And not only that, there are some categories that are normally bought together with Coca-Cola or Pepsi, and that's snacks and that's also sandwiches. And we see that is a high increase of sales, unit sales on both those categories after Pepsi Max was put into the cabinets. The monthly average unit sales is 20.8% higher than before Pepsi Max came into the cabinet. So that's a really high increase, and increase you seldom see in the industry. So if we just wrap up this first part of the start thinking shopper, it is ask your question, do you have the strong international and or local brands in your cabinet? You should have, because a consumer / shopper will probably not buy from the cabinet if they don't find the brands they are looking for. They will go another place to find it if it is a strong, very strong brand. And I will also say test, because instead of thinking that, okay, should I do this, should I put in this, maybe if I do this, this will happen. It's very easy. Just register the product in the cloud, tag it and put it in the cabinet, and then you see the sales. Is it good or bad? If it's good, yeah, maybe you should continue to do it. If it's bad, yeah, it's not used to. Then you don't need it in the end. But the testing is important. You will not get the answer by thinking of doing it. Do it. And then over to the next topic, 24/7 service. And also how important it is that you have the cabinet and have the availability and they are visible. Because these data are based on European level. And this is sales per hour during the 24 hours a day. And if we'll first look at Workplaces. Of course, the highest peak is during lunch hour between 11 and 2 in Europe. But think about this, 50% of the sales are outside the lunch hour. So it is a demand for product during the whole day. And so that's really important also to think when you think about refill the cabinets. And if we look at another customer group that we have is hotels. And here the pattern is totally different. Here is most of the sales in the night. And why is that? Okay, it's kind of people come and check in late. They come from work and check in. They don't want to go to a restaurant. They want to just grab something with them and go to the room and eat something fast and maybe go to bed. Or another thing, they came in late from an event or have been sightseeing the whole day and just want to grab something, some snacks or drinks to have on the room. So it's very important that if you have our cabinets in a hotel, make sure that they are full when the evening time comes. And the last topic I just want to talk about is prepare yourself for big events. We had this nice thing in Stockholm that Beyonce was here playing a couple of days, and just look at the numbers. During 2 days, almost 40% of the sales in a nearby hotel that runs on Selfly store was purchased during that day. So 40% of 3-week sales was 2 nights, and that is how important big events near or in your hotel are. So prepare yourself if you know it's a big event near or you have a big conference, because the visitor, the guest will buy during the evening. So that was all from the presentation. Now over to the panel discussion for today.
Welcome, Håvard and Anindya, and thank you, Håvard, for the great presentation earlier.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk about trends. We're going to talk about maximizing sales and best practices for doing that. But before we start, Anindya, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thanks Malin for the invitation, and thanks Håvard for joining us. So I have a background in data science with an expertise in AI, ML, and data analytics and statistical modeling. Now at Selfly store, I'm working towards establishing or fostering a culture, a data-driven culture that can enable us to kind of support better customer behaviors and customer in their data-driven initiatives so that they can generate quite some values, and it can help in our growth as well.
Good, good. Hey, I want to dive into it. Håvard, as the area manager of Scandinavia, what kind of trends have you seen in the convenience retail sector recently?
Yeah, the trends. I will say that the retail convenience haven't been normal in many years since actually 2019. The pandemic came, and then people weren't visiting, and convenience, it's you need to have people visiting to sell. And then the pandemic disappeared, or haven't disappeared in the media at least, and then the war broke out. So the convenience, as we know before, has struggled a lot, and you see, of course, maybe increased revenue, but it's purely driven on price. The volumes are not going up, so things are more expensive, and I don't have the market data available, but my assumption, what I read, is the volume goes down, and so there are less people buying from the convenience. However, if we look at our kind of convenience, the small, really small convenience, we see that we are doing quite well. We don't see the trends as less volume at our place. Our volume is increasing. And also we see a trend, and I was actually speaking to a customer yesterday about this, that since 2019, after the pandemic, the work, people don't work as they did before. Canteens and manned restaurants were it's not profitable to run them anymore. So we have seen that they are exchanging them with unmanned retail, and actually some of the unmanned retail has a higher turnover than the restaurant had.
And Anindya, what can the data tell us about the trends on the European market?
I agree with what Howard said, like actually about the trend. We have the same sort of trend across the Europe as well. Like the consumers have been affected by this exciting time. Like for example, like the average basket size is around 1.64 units, and the price is around €5, like average price, and the time is around, like the most sellable time is around like 9 to 11 UTC, which is like lunchtime at the workplaces. And which interestingly, which is different in the hotel domain, where like our hotel segment, where like the time shifted towards the night time, where like the more products are being sold around the night time.
Yeah, and an interesting fact is if you then lose a shopper because you don't have the assortment that the shopper wants to buy, you lose actually a sale of €5 approximately each time a shopper decides not to buy in your cabinet. And that's if you have 10 shoppers, it's €50, and it can be a lot of money during a year.
Exactly. So we have to be ready proactively with this refill operations, like where the merchants, they can have this proactive information, like what products are most sellable. Like for example, they have reps and drinks, they are being sold around the lunchtime, so they can already fill those beforehand, like on weekends, so that the consumers can buy mostly on Mondays. That's the behavior we see.
And while on the topic of data still, can you share a bit of key insight? Because I know that you do have it around the best-selling cabinets that we have, the self-restore cabinets in Europe.
Yes, for example, like we have one customer, like we have in Southern Europe, which is kind of one of the best-selling, best value-creating cabinet, and like the sale is around €10,000. That's the most sellable items, for example, which we can retrieve from the behavior, let's say. There are like certain GDPR aspects as well, which we cannot retrieve the full consumer behavior, but we can see the behavior, like mostly people are buying sandwiches and wrap around that, and the average price is around €6.12, and with the same sort of average basket size, that's 1.1. And that has been established by like different digital services which we are providing to the retailers or vendors. Like they have this discounts, for example, enabled, that helps them a lot to sell their products. Because when I say like, okay, they are selling this kind of daily products which is connected to sandwiches and wrap, so they have some sort of expiry date. So if we are providing these services, and when they use these kind of services, which means then they can like reduce the price and they can capture the more market by having these kind of discounts. Because then we are kind of, as I said in the previous point where we were talking about the current time, like consumer purchasing power has decreased as well. When they see some sort of discount, that enables them to buy more product, and then it attracts more consumers in that sense.
Is there any success factors related to the location, about the merchant, him or herself, or what can you disclose about that?
Certainly, like location plays a very crucial role here. Like if a cabinet is located somewhere in isolated place, then it's not visible to everybody. But if a cabinet is present in a high traffic zone, for example, where like it has high visibility, then it enables more consumer and it attracts more consumer. So like for example, this specific cabinet I'm talking about is in the mall region, for example, where like people can see it more clearly, like whether it's present or not, and then it's close to workplace as well, so people can usually go there during the lunchtime, because you don't want to walk a lot to buy some product. You want like the close vicinity where you can go, just pick your favorite food and just eat, and then have a wonderful conversation with your colleagues.
If I can add something about the location, because I was participating in a really interesting event last week in Finland, was called Slush, where we had 20 cabinets out with self-restore, and there we had like these 5 satellite location where the cabinets were standing. it was quite clear because I was there looking for the 5th location for the cabinet and I couldn't find it. It was quite clear when we saw the numbers of the selling numbers from each satellite location that visibility is the key, because that location where I was not able to locate it, the shopper weren't able either, so that sold like 1/5 of the other locations.
Yeah.
So visibility is a key factor to succeed with cabinets.
And Anindya, you mentioned discounts. Håvard, would you like to elaborate a bit on your experience when it comes to discounts and advertisement? How do you utilize that in the best ways to maximize your sales?
Yeah, that's a good question. And if I had the answer for that, 100% answer for that, I will probably be the guru of the retail industry in the world. But I can try. One thing that is quite clear as a rebate or campaign is like when you offer something to your employees when you have them in the workplace. It don't need to be a high discount, but something to extra to buy from the cabinets. They sell best. We see many cabinets that are our highest performers has exactly that they have some rebate on some item, for instance sandwich, or they have a fixed rebate to each employee. Also a discount, and it can be done automatically through our system. As you said about expiry date, you can put expiry date and then the price changes when you come to expiry date. That's not only good for the sales, it's good for the environment also, because you don't have to throw away food that are out of date. So that you can do automatically. But we have a hospital here in Sweden that has taken it, do it manual, but have taken it a step further. They have a own cabinet called Save the Planet, where they on every Friday put all the items that they know will go out in the expire during the weekend. And say they have this advertising saying save the planet minus 50% at least. So they know when they come on Sunday or Monday morning that cabinet is empty and it's a public area of the hospital. But that's how you can do it the manual way, but also with the advertising telling that you can save, and you can save money and you can also save the planet. So that is two things I would like to highlight as what I have seen the most best rebate and best performing rebates.
And I mean, now extending the question a bit, what are the best ways to boost sales in the cabinets overall?
Okay, yeah. First of all, I will say we have touched into location. If you don't see the cabinet, you can have the best assortment, can have the best of everything in the cabinet. But if the people don't find it, it won't sell. So that's number one. We have also touched into the some kind, especially on the workplace, that you have some kind of discount to the employees there. And then we go to another part of it, and also that is assortment. We have I've talked a bit about it, but try to find out what kind of products that are attracting the shoppers or consumer to the cabinet when they see it, so that they open the door and try to do the purchase. And then of course a good rebate management in one way. You can do like this package deal where you buy a drink and a sandwich and you get a rebate, for instance. So that is, and of course the fourth thing is good routines. So you make sure that the cabinet is full in the peak hours, and that you have the routines to do that.
What's usually the peak hours?
It all depends on where the cabinet is standing. So in a workplace it is between 11 and 2, and the main peak hour is between 11 to 1. That's the high sale. In a hotel actually, and I showed that earlier, it's in the evening, because people come to hotel, are tired, or they come back from the day and they don't want to go to the restaurant and they want to buy something, or they just want something to drink or a snack or something. So it all depends on where the cabinet is. So, but however, in a workplace, it's the peak hour is during lunch, but they sell the whole 24 hours a day.
Right. And also, I know that you mentioned that for workplaces, it's a success factor if you have some sort of rebate for the employees. Do you mean then that the employer is paying something, or is it like pure?
I think it's a mix, but what I have heard from the merchants that run the cabinets in my area is either you can have a fixed discount from the employer that they pay something like this, you get something back on the salary or something, or you can also have this free lunch on a day. But you have this free lunch during the day, and that's also one day to get people back to the office, actually, because that has been a problem for many, at least here in Sweden, to get people come to the office.
Thank you, Håvard. And Anindya, I mean, how can data and analytics support boosting the sales?
Well, there are several factors here. Like, I mean, as we have touched upon, like the location is one of the factors, like what consumers prefer in the cabinet. So, I mean, just to add some points to what just Håvard said, like, I mean, there are different business strategies how you can grow the market, or how can you capture more consumers. I mean, like, it's not about like employers are paying, but it's more about, like, for example, by having this better expiry date enabled, or let's say the digital services which we are offering, that can enable them like to kind of proactively think like, okay, which days they can actually put these kind of free lunches. And I mean, by doing that, I mean, they are getting rid of this close by expiry products, which means like we are reducing the waste and we are also selling more products. So that's one point. And then other factor is like how to proactively know about like, okay, what consumer wants. So we are kind of working towards like AI enabled product recommendation solution that can help the merchants and to see like, okay, which products are the most sellable products and which products are mostly in demand. So that can help them with the refill operations as well, and to kind of manage their inventory as well. So it goes in hand in hand like with everything. And as Håvard said, like location does make a big difference. Like again, like I mean, that's very interesting, like when you see like the hotel behavior, like when the consumer buys mostly in the night time. When it comes to the workplaces, it's mostly during the daytime and the lunchtime. So I mean, like having these products, like product recommendation solutions, we can definitely see like which products need to be filled out in which working hour, or let's say which hour. So yes.
So I have a final question for both of you. What are your quick forecasts for what will happen in convenience retail during the next couple of years, and what should merchants do to get ready for them?
Ooh, quick forecast. How many hours do I have? No, the quick forecast is, and it's actually written in every paper. The prices kind of will stabilize, I think, if you talk about like a normal retail convenience store, but the volumes will still go down. The economic is tough at the moment, and if I look at the market I live in Sweden and Norway. I work in Norway and Denmark. The loans are getting more and more expensive, and that of course will affect the purchase in the market. For our merchants, I will say be very look very closely to what you have in the cabinet, because you don't get so many chances. People will spend less, and if they don't find the things they want to spend money in the cabinets, then they will spend their money another place. And that's also a thing that is dangerous, because if a shopper consumer start thinks, okay, I don't find the products in this place I want to buy, then they won't go there again. That's how the shopper mind works, actually. So make sure that the cabinets are full. Of course, location is key, but also that you have the products that the shopper wants.
Now I just have to ask the follow-up question. Which products should they have then?
I don't want to put out any more brands here, but what is the important, if you think about category? Drinks is an extremely important category. Snacks is an extremely important category. Sandwiches is even a more important category, and then ready-made meal. If you have a good combination of those, you will serve a lot, and then you need to find these little triggers that might be an extra product that can do the extra and attract the shopper to the or cabinets. And what that is, I don't have the answer, but I will say just test, because it's extremely easy to test in a selfie store. You just register the product, tag it, put it in, and then you see, does it sell or not? It's an easy test.
Yeah. I would say just completely aligned with what Håvard said. The consumers, they have become smart, and we are providing a smart solution, which means merchants needs to be very proactive and smart at the same time. And how can we support them? That's what I see as a point here, that can enable them to be ready for the future trends. For example, they need to be, I should urge them, they should use our digital services offerings which we are providing them more and more, so that they can understand how these technologies can help them in a better way, and improving their sales, for example, having better products in the cabinets. As Håvard said, these are the products like wraps, drinks, and all the handy to carry or easy to eat products. They are more usable, or let's say more consumed by the consumers, which means and this is kind of shared by the same thought, the average purchasing price is around €5. So we need to be ready for these kind of information, so that merchants could kind of provide these products already in the cabinets. So for that, what we are providing, as I said, we are kind of building this kind of AI-enabled product recommendations that could help them to define what kind of combos are there which consumer wants, and what kind of products they could already have in the cabinet, so that consumers feel well satisfied and well happy about that. And also that goes again hand in hand with the proactive discount campaigns, for example. If they have this information already, okay, some products are expiring soon, they can already enable those discounts, and they can also have this strong marketing campaigns around that, okay, we have discounts. So everything goes hand in hand, so that again it comes with the visibility as well. They need to provide more the cabinets to the customers, where the cabinets are kind of present in a better visibility, so that everybody knows okay, that's very easy to take out and easy to purchase. So they don't have to stand in the queues, for example. They just go and grab the food and then go.
Great.
Can I
Yes,
just
please.
ask add a last thing? Because we have talked a lot about data, but how to get to the data? That's a good question, and I would just say that we have just launched a new video showing how the cloud is working. So if you have a question, you can go to the video, or of course we can help you with the cloud working. But we talk a lot about data, but data need to be accessible, and that's through cloud. And if you don't know 100% how to get the data, we have this new video that can support you with that, or we can support you also, of course.
Thanks for highlighting that. That's very crucial aspect. Without data we are incomplete as well.
Yes. Hey, thank you so much for a good discussion, and to our viewers, thank you for being with us, and then I hope that you have a happy holiday and that we see each other on the next side of the year.